Last year, Netflix acquired the Australian animation and visual effects company Animalogic to help make animated films for them. They had previously worked on the animation for some Warner Brothers movies like Happy Feet and The Lego Movie, but The Magician's Elephant is that first movie done under the new corporate owners. And it's not the only pedigree attached to this film. The movie is based on a book by Kate DiCamillo, and I've enjoyed previous film adaptations of her work, namely Because of Winn-Dixie, The Tale of Despereaux, and Flora and Ulysses. She seems to really like writing stories about people who befriend animals. The Magician's Elephant is the feature directing debut of Wendy Rogers, who previously worked in visual effects, primarily at Pacific Data Images. Interesting enough, the film was originally announced all the way back in 2009 as a live-action movie for 20th Century Fox, even before the book was published. And impressively, the producer, Julia Pister, and the screenwriter, Martin Hines, stayed involved with the movie during the many years it spent in development and its eventual production. Now that we know about the principal people involved, what did I think of the movie? While it has some elements I admired, I don't think The Magician's Elephant entirely came together as a whole. The movie follows several characters, although I only found a few of them to be particularly interesting. One is a king who becomes fascinated with this elephant who magically appears in the city out of nowhere thanks to a magician's failed spell. He's given the most personality out of everyone, and I like that you're not entirely sure whether he has antagonistic motives or not. The film managed to peel away at him as we learn more about him, and he learns more about the city he's visiting. The animators give him a lot of energy when he's moving around and making proclamations. There's also the aforementioned magician, who I wish got more screen time as he spends most of the film in a prison cell. I thought he was able to be a sympathetic character, and Benedict Wong did a really good job voicing him. I also want to know more about the elephant. We get a scene of the elephant with its family, which is a very sweet moment, but this pachyderm otherwise feels strangely sidelined despite being in the title. The elephant is mostly used as a plot device for the main character, who I'll get to in a bit. By the way, Natasha Demetriou does the voice of a fortune teller who also narrates the film. She does a good job, but is also doing the same voice as her character from What We Do in the Shadows, so all I could hear was Nadja telling the story. Unfortunately, I found the main character Peter to be largely a bore. He's just not very interesting, and even though there's potential emotion in him wanting to use this elephant to locate his long-lost sister, it does not quite register. His sister is just as one-dimensional, along with some of the other characters we meet, like the couple who lives in the apartment below. Peter resides with a retired soldier who rescued him in a war several years earlier, and there are a few interesting themes about the impact of war on families. There's a particularly well-done flashback where we see Peter being saved as a child. However, the movie mostly just skims the surface of this, when the history of this country could have been explored a little more. The film seems to struggle with juggling the needed character development for all the key players, which partly explains why I was more invested in a few of the characters more than others. The animation in The Magician's Elephant is fine, although nothing about the visual presentation leaped out at me. The most impressive aspect of the animation comes from the elephant, who is well animated and nicely designed. I do have to confess, though, that the character designs looked a little odd to me. Maybe they worked better on paper, and I admire the artist did not opt for the typical designs we see in computer-animated characters. I think it's mainly the lips and the realistic skin textures that threw me off. Overall, The Magician's Elephant never rises above being anything particularly special, although it's harmless enough entertainment. My main problem is I found the lead character to be mostly uninteresting. Thus, I had a difficult time getting invested in his story and the various challenges he has to complete. It was primarily the elephant and a few supporting characters that grabbed my interest. Having not read the book, I don't know if the source material had the same problems, but I felt the movie struggled with handling the multiple subplots. But what did you think of The Magician's Elephant? Give it a watch on Netflix and let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.